Now let's take a look at case 2. We need to concatenate the numbers from 1 to 100 using either string or string buffer. And we also need to output the result and the runtime. How can we output the runtime? Here are some hints. There are two ways to get the current system time. You can use the new class provided by JDK 1.8, Instant, to get the current timestamp and convert it to milliseconds. Alternatively, you can use the current time millis method from the system class to get the current system time in milliseconds. We can obtain the current time twice, at the start and end of the program. The difference between these two timestamps will give us the runtime of the program. With this analysis, let's focus on the number concatenation. We can use a loop to accomplish this. Now let's see how we can implement this. First, we focus on how one can get the current time using the two methods mentioned earlier. We can use straight1 to represent the start time, and after the program execution ends, we output the current time as the second time. Once we have the first time recorded, we can place the second time at the end of the program. With this arrangement, we can calculate the runtime by subtracting straight1 from straight2. Now, let's focus on how to concatenate the numbers using strings. We can use a typical for loop to iterate from 1 to 1000. The example has been changed to 1000 for a more noticeable effect, as it was not significant with 100. By changing the iteration to 1000, the runtime effect becomes more noticeable. After the concatenation, we can output the result. We can place this output outside the for loop, so that it is executed after the loop finishes. Finally, straight2 straight1 will give us the runtime of the string concatenation. Let's look at the second method, which uses string buffer for concatenation. When using string buffer, we need to include the comma as well. This means that when we append the numbers, we also need to append the comma. After the loop, we output the result. Once the output is complete, we obtain the third system timestamp. To calculate the runtime of the first and second methods, let's run the program and observe the results. You will notice that the time for the string concatenation is approximately 3 milliseconds, while for string buffer concatenation, it is too fast to be measured, 0 milliseconds. To make the timing difference more apparent, I included the output steps within the loop. This is because input and output operations are time-consuming. In this way, the time difference becomes more noticeable. This time, let's also output the result of each iteration. You will see that the first method takes around 282 milliseconds, while the second method takes around 181 milliseconds. This clearly demonstrates that using string buffer is faster than using string concatenation. I encourage you to try this program on your own computer and observe the runtime when executing 1000 iterations. Given the following definition, string s等于 story, which of the following statements is not valid?